Getting back to the party hunting, define that. What is, do you have to be right with the person? Do they have to be on the same farm? How far? Because that's a gray.
Subjective.
They have to be a part of the hunt. Okay, a lot of times what we find as officers when we're out there, we'll be checking deer in, let's say, the back of a pickup truck. And you're looking at the tags and you're comparing the tags, the name on the tags with the licenses or driver's licenses or whatever it is. And all of a sudden it's some female's name, let's say, for an example, that in a date of birth of 1932. And you're looking at that, and you look around the group here, and you're trying to figure out, okay,
where is she?
Female that was born in 1932, where is she? Well, somebody, had their aunt, their grandma, someone else go purchase a tag. They then have it in their pocket and are tagging that deer. That's illegal. They can't do that. So, that person has to be a part of that hunt.
So party hunting in their shotgun seasons and it comes from the tradition of the way our shotgun hunters hunt is groups and post and drive hunting. And so in post and drive hunting, one person may have the opportunity to shoot 3 deer, and historically those might be the only 3 deer the party got. So if he could only shoot the 1 deer, they felt bad that they didn't get a chance to shoot 3 deer. So back in the 70s, the law was changed by the legislature to allow party hunting so that that guy could shoot the 3 deers as long as there was licenses available in his group. Mm-hmm. So it's like Jason said, in the shotgun seasons, if you got 10 people, you've got 10 tags, anybody can shoot anybody's deer if the person who has a license lets you have permission to do that.
What if you're not doing the pushes and the drives? Then you'd have to be sitting right next to each other.
That person has to be a part of it.
They have to be right there with you.
They have to be. It's not so much right there with you, but they have to be participating in that hunt. They have to be a part of that hunting party. A lot of times, and as your viewers might get online and they find out that I want to come hunting in the state of Iowa, and somebody says, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll supply the tags." Mm-hmm. Because we can party hunt.
It's not that way.
Exactly. You still have to have that tag that you've purchased to do that. Like Willie mentioned earlier, you might have an antlerless tag and be a part of that group where somebody is a resident or non-resident has that buck tag and you're party hunting along with those lines. But it's not as easy as some people think that, oh, I'm just going to call up somebody, come to the state of Iowa, they'll supply me a tag and I'll go out hunting. It's going to get them in a lot of trouble doing things like that. And that's what we try. We want to educate people so they don't do that. And you have a lot of very good, whether it be guides or outfitters or different groups that are here, but you also have people that are in it for that sale of trying to get someone to come to the state of Iowa because of our big deer, and they may give that person, they may not give them all of the facts. So what I'd recommend is if somebody's going to come to the state of Iowa and they want to know, don't hesitate to call our department or send an email to us and ask those questions. Say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about coming. I want to come to the state of Iowa. I understand you guys got great deer numbers, big deer, but this is what I've been told. Is this true? And we can respond back, give those answers to that and clarify that. We'd much rather give somebody the information up front than to have one of our officers end up citing them and for doing something illegal.
As to clarification right here, though, the only time it's legal for a non-resident to party hunt in the state of Iowa is during the shotgun seasons. Because shotgun one, no muzzleloader seasons. Right.
No bow.
That's been a.
What about the antlerless November?
January they could.
January they could. So shotgun 1 or 2.
And the November.
Thanksgiving.
They can't come back for November.
November is not open to non-resident.
Oh, party. I thought, just you're talking to non-resident.
Non-resident.
Yeah. So the non-resident could only partake in shotgun 1 or 2 or the January antlerless portion.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
It's valuable information.
I think a lot of people had that misnomer. It just carried over to muzzleloader season as well.
Right.
Because it's a gun season. And they thought all gun seasons you can party hunt, and it's just not.
It still seems a bit gray to me, but only because I've never done it and I don't do the drive hunts. So let me just throw a scenario out there. If you were viewing the deal, and say Terry and I were both hunting the same farm, so we're both hunting, but if he's
sitting in a box,
if he's in one end,
shotgun
season, it's party, and what if we're a half mile apart? We're both hunting, but we're not in the same hunt. How far apart can you be to legally do it, or how close must you be? You know, I would think there'd have to be something that govern that.
You're stretching it there. I mean, in regards to, a deer has to be tagged within 15 minutes or before it's moved. Okay, so a lot of times you'll have that where, I mean, if you're truly active, a part of that hunt together, the way you just described that to me, you have 2 separate hunts going on the same farm type of a deal. If
You
you're,
really
if you're
need to be
making,
together.
if you're making that drive together, if you're pursuing, if you're a part of that same hunting party, I mean, and the rationale for that is that within 15 minutes or before it's moved, if somebody's a part of your hunting party, they're gonna know that that deer was shot. I mean, they're gonna be
Right.
there to tag it, they're gonna carry on and do those things. If you're on the other side of the farm and you shoot, I mean, you don't know, you don't have that tag now. Chances are of that being tagged within 15 minutes, I mean,
Pretty slim.
it's not gonna happen. So you have that violation, and that's where, I mean, it's within 15 minutes or before the deer's moved.
And do you have to
So
carry your
whatever
tag
comes
with you?
first. Yes. Yep,
And then
the
once your
person has
tag
to
is
have it.
used, you have to drop out, or you can still hunt?
You can still continue to hunt. You'll have 2 parts of that tag. I mean, so you'll have that tag that you tag that deer with, and then you keep the rest of that in your pocket. And for the party hunting side of things, I could be, I could tag my deer, and I could still shoot a deer and then have it tagged with Willie's tag.
As long as you could find
As-
Willie's
as-
tag
as
in
long as he's
15 minutes.
within 15 minutes or before that deer's moved.
And that happened in the 70s. There's been party. Let me ask you guys this: do you like still having party hunting, or do you wish it would kind of go away?
Here we go. Now,
Here we go.
Here comes the hot seat.
Here's where that
Here's
approval
a
process
political
comes into
correct
play.
answer, yeah.
You know, the one thing is that, first of all, the shotgun hunters are where we control the deer herd in the state, because that's where the biggest majority of kill is. And so there is a positive point to that party hunting. So the negative point is the extra pressure it does put on bucks, And so from a resident standpoint, when, where we get a complaint is when non-residents can come in and buy an antlerless tag, and then they can go and shoot 2, 3, whatever buck, how many tags people want to give up. And so there's a negative connotation to that as well. But clearly there is a positive in that, if there's 10 tags in the bunch, and 8 does come by and they fill them all, it's for herd management, there's a positive aspect as well. But, whether or not we could, would change that, I'm glad we don't have it in other seasons. And the shotgun, is traditionally more of a group, everybody getting together, and so that's a little bit different. But I'd just assume from a management standpoint not push it into any other seasons.
I can add to that too, and on the enforcement side of it, I agree with everything that Dale just said there, but you also have it, like right now with our youth seasons. Our youth season now can be carried over if they don't fill that a deer. And now all of a sudden it's into the shotgun 1 season, and that hunt changed now from taking my youngster that was out there and to have that good experience is one more buck tag for my group. I mean, and it's like, yeah, Junior's there in the pickup truck with us, but deer are being tagged and used with that,
With his name.
with that tag. So it's kind of depends, just like Dale said, at what seasons and where it's at, and it's a good management tool, but you just have to be really careful on how those tags, what seasons they are valid for and how they're used.
Now,
I
if you're
could see where those gray areas would be tough
very gray.
for an enforcement side. I mean, and wearing the black hat here as defined as it is to be a non-resident, not be able to acquire an archery permit, but then to be able to talk about, party hunting, it's almost like
It's two ends of the
two ends of the spectrum,
It's
where it makes it
seems
difficult for you on both.
counterintuitive
It
to me.
almost does.
And you have that, and on the archery side of it, like Willie mentioned, where it was changed, you used to have it where somebody would have an antlerless tag. They'd come into the state of Iowa, I mean, with an antlerless tag, knowing that, I mean, okay, here's my opportunity to come hunt Iowa. I've got an antlerless tag to come in bow hunting that second week of November. And I'm in here and it's like, oh, well, if you shoot one, call me. I'll come tag that deer with somebody's buck tag or whatever it is. There are tons of people that get prosecuted for doing that. You can't party hunt. I can't come in here with an antlerless tag, shoot a buck, and then have a resident come and tag my
Tag the
deer.
deer.
And that's a lot of people, they're up there in that tree. I mean, And it's that opportunity comes by where the biggest buck they've seen in their life,
And they're going to shoot it.
and they shoot it, and then they leave, broke without their equipment and everything else in regards to doing that. So we try not to,
But you could understand where the confusion would come from. You know, why is it good in gun but not good in bow? you know?
and that's where you have to, if in doubt, when you come here, especially as a non-resident, call the local warden. Ask those questions. What is it that, this is the tag I have, this is where I'm gonna be. Is it legal for me to do this? Is it not legal for me to do that? Get online, look at those regulations, and it'll answer a lot of those questions.
I highly encourage that.
To me, it seems like a loophole. Just sitting here based on everything we're talking about, if you're a non-resident landowner in Terry's situation, then the loophole is get a doe tag and go party hunting.
Every
with some-
box blind that you sit in with Joe, your camera guy, I'm going to be sitting right next to you, Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
But can you, during the party hunt, leave the state with a buck, even though you had a doe tag?
If you have a legal buck tag that was someone hunting in your party.
As long as it was legal.
So then you
take.
switch that.
And he's there with you.
Even though
or
you
they
bought
are
a
there
doe
with-
tag.
And
You
it's
can leave the
not
state
just
with a buck.
landowners. We've got 4,000 antlerless tags for non-residents. We only
Right, you don't
sold,
have to be a landowner.
we only sold about 2,500 of those last year. So we had 60 counties where non-residents could have came into Iowa and hunted if they wanted to hunt during the shotgun, if they had connections.
have party hunted.
And you can kind of see this all ties back to that
You won't want this broadcast.
Yeah, I'm
North
telling you, man,
American
that
model,
seems like
though.
a loophole to
We're
your-
sharing the deer resource. If you're coming back and hunting with an Iowan and a party of Iowans, then you're not being exclusive and causing us deer management problems, more than likely.
Right, if you're truly hunting in a party
yes, if
situation.
it's
If
truly
you
is
truly are,
for what
but
it
most
was.
people are going to go,
Right.
I'm going to buy 80 acres, I'm going to put a big food plot in it, I'm going to come hunt the shotgun season, and I'm going to find somebody to go hunting with.
An Iowa resident. that
An
wants to
Iowa resident,
sit
and
with
then I've got my buck tag.
Strike a
it
deal with the
seems
guy
like-
that sold me the ground. Every year he has to supply me a buck tag, and
I know, I understand your
can
purpose,
go-
but I know how people are going to do it. I know what they're going
I'm
to do.
just-
I didn't even know you could do that.
I do now.
well, and it's
But that's job security for us also.
Yeah.
When you look at things, just like you mentioned, it sounds really easy, but how many times are you gonna have that person that's with you? The way you just explained it is, I'll go out there and I'll sit in my blind, I'll shoot that deer and have somebody bring a tag. Don't forget.
no, that
yeah,
he's with you.
Yeah, don't forget.
You just
and-
gotta-
yeah, and how often are they gonna be sitting there with you?
It has to
I mean,
be the
yeah,
whole
that's-
time.
The whole
and-
time.
Yeah, exactly, but you don't often have that. What we run across as officers is it's like, oh, nobody will know tonight.
Right.
If you go ahead and go do your thing in town.
Right,
and I'll
right,
come out
right.
there.
Farmer
And that's-
Jones
That's the day that the warden is waiting for you to come out and you're there and it's like, you just shot the deer or whatever it is.
But-
And it's not worth that risk for people to do those things. And it comes back to the ethics, like we talked about, and whether or not somebody wants to take that chance of getting caught. But I can tell you, the fines and the penalties for getting caught doing that are a lot more severe than what people imagine. When you look at poaching, all of a sudden that 160-inch deer that you don't have in your state walks by and you shoot it, and it just so happens that was an illegal deer. Those fines and liquidated
Right.
damages, like we talked
Yeah.
about earlier, you can, get up to that $10,000 to $20,000 on that. So people have to make those decisions on.
Please understand, I'm just playing the devil's
Yeah,
advocate
yeah, sure.
because that seems totally unbelievable that you can even do that. I didn't know you could do that.
Well, it wasn't something that the department did, that was a legislative action, so.
Okay.
So again, as I said, if
If you had your druthers, would you?
I would not want it.
You would not want it.
Because of the same things that we
Would you
talked
want it?
about.
Jason?
On the enforcement side of it, no.
No.
When you.
So
when
yet
you-
they did it.
Willie? Now, you seem to think, according to our model, that it might not be the worst thing.
It's not the worst thing in the world, and it fits the way Iowans shotgun hunt. And when that changes to the point where it's changing, it's not the way it was 20 years ago, and people are out, and you're in your stand, this stand, that stand, then it no longer works.